Hey there everybody, Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Album Rewind, where we take a look at some classic albums by classic bands that maybe get a little overshadowed by the equally classic album that came before it. In this case, we're going to take a look at an album released January 4th, 1984 for Columbia Records, produced by Tom Elam. Recorded at Ibiza Sound Studios in Ibiza. We're talking about Defenders of the Faith by Judas Priest. All right. Like I said, perhaps a little overshadowed by the big blockbuster that was Screaming for Vengeance that came out shortly before it. Right. Both albums certified platinum plus, both albums top 20 Billboard releases. Both very notable. And in a lot of ways, Judas Priest getting back to doing what they do best, right? After the slightly mellowish point of entry, back with a vengeance on Screamer for Vengeance, and kind of following that up with Defenders of the Faith, which is not that different from the Screaming album. These, a lot of times, especially in the career of Judas Priest, you have certain albums that kind of go together. They're like brother and sisters, and I think Screaming and Defenders kind of fall in line there. Both really great albums. I mean, I grew up with both of these. I remember being, in my late teens, and it was all about Screamer for Vengeance and Defenders of the Faith. So I look back fondly on these albums quite a bit. Kicking things off, of course, you got Free Will Burning. Great album opener. Just a great chorus, great guitar riffing, thunderous rhythms, and a snarling Rob Halford. Love Free Will Burning. Then you got Jawbreaker, another great track. Really good 1-2 punch to kick off this album. Free Will Burning and Jawbreaker, classic openers. Get you in the mood for this whole album, which is a pretty heavy-hitting album, pretty driving album. Rock Hard, Ride Free. Slows the pace down just a little bit. Good heavy song, anthemic chorus. A little mellow. I think Rock Hard Ride Free kind of reminds me of some of the stuff that they were doing on Point of Entry. Still a really good track. But then the last song on side one of the LP, first half of the CD, for me, is probably my favorite song on the album, which is The Sentinel. Sentinel is great. Love those opening guitar notes. It's, Halford is just at his vengeful best on here. The Sentinel, classic. Seen them play it live. Just an amazing track. A highlight of side one. But again, side one begins and ends with two burning tracks, Free Will Burning and The Sentinel. Over on side two, you got the kind of catchy but still pretty heavy Love Bites. All right? Great guitar riff, good chorus. Then you got the snarling Eat Me Alive. Another really good song. Then for me, probably my least favorite song. Although it's catchy as hell, co-written by Bob Halligan Jr., actually written by Bob Halligan Jr., Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. And ironically, that was like the single that they picked for the album. I don't dislike Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. It's catchy. It's, I kind of feel it like it's right there, like in the middle of the album, and it kind of like, all right, loses a little bit of momentum. But I know a lot of people dig it. I don't dislike it. I just think it's kind of like a momentum killer on this album a little bit. And then you got the soaring Night Comes Down. When the night comes down. Great vocal from Halford. Halford could show that more emotional side to his repertoire. He can do the screaming. He can do the gruff stuff. Night Comes Down. One of his best vocals on the album. Love it. Then you got Heavy Duty. Heavy Duty. Just a grinding heavy track. And then leads right into We Are Defenders of the Faith. Killer closer. Saving the title track for last. How many times have you heard that in all your years of listening to classic albums, classic bands? How many albums end with a title track? Not many. In fact, I'm having a hard time thinking of, off the top of my head, of any of them where the last song on the album is the title track. Very unusual, right? There you have it. That is Defenders of the Faith. So many great songs. If I were to pick a couple favorites, The Sentinel, easily. Free Will Burning, easily. Jawbreaker's great. Eat Me Alive. Heavy Duty, title track. They're all really good. Like I said, the only song on here that I think sometimes I'm kind of like, is Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. But I think, again, if you look at both sides of the vinyl, right, you got Rock Hard, Ride Free, and then Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, both kind of like in the middle of each side, and those are more of kind of like the mid-paced, melodic, anthemic, more accessible songs. But, for the most part, this is it's an easy album to get into. I remember, when this came out, and loving the metallic. What was he called? I don't even remember what this guy was called. But you had very similar art styles here. These kind of giant metallic creatures, the Metallium, the whatever, and just really worked. The Halion, the Metallium, is that what they were? I'm trying to remember. A long time ago. My brain's fuzzy this morning. But anyway, these go hand in hand. All right. Doesn't really matter which one you like better. They're both classic, but I think, this one tends to get most of the attention, which is why we're focusing on this one today. So, Defenders of the Faith, our classic album rewind of the day. If you've never listened to this album, please go check it out. Report back on what you think. If you are well familiar with it, maybe you haven't listened to it in a while, take some time, play it again today. Let us know how it's still sitting with you all these years later, right? That's the important thing. So stay tuned for more Classic Album Rewind each and every day during the month of June, and visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're on YouTube all the damn time. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you want to make a channel donation, please click on the Ko-Fi link below, where you can go over to the Ko-Fi page and make a donation, whatever you like. Whatever you decide to do is very much appreciated. And we've also got the link to our merch page below as well, and our website, so go check out 20 years on the internet with Sea of Tranquility, over 22,000 reviews of all sorts of albums and things. So make sure you go stop there every now and then as well. And we'll see you all real soon here on the channel. I am Pete Pardo. Have a good one.